When do you use a Gregorian chant for this?
Oh, wait, that's the Halo theme. I didn't think anyone would catch it.
Quentin here on Fine Day.
This is Ethan. I'm gonna go. Don't worry, Devin's here. This is time. Let's rock and roll.
Welcome to the Power Up Brothers podcast, where communist China has no power over us, but I wish that it did. I'm here with a bunch of these losers. They like video games, and you probably do if you ended up on this channel, and you're worse for it. You should go outside and do something else.
Not liking video games. You're worse for ending up on this channel. Video games are fine. This will ruin your life.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast where we're actually all very positive about things.
Everything is Positive Brothers podcast.
Everything is Brothers podcast.
Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Very positively.
I am doing great. I'm in full-blown denial.
Okay.
And it's never been better.
Let me tell you something. Every week I open the news and we've got gone to war with a new country, and then I take a deep breath and I play Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS, and I just know when the missiles drop, they're gonna find that 3DS intact.
Yeah, you know.
But I'm gone. I'm like carbonized, but the 3DS is just sitting there.
You mean
open.
Specifically the Power Up Brothers who've gone to war with someone else.
That's right.
With another fan base that we've insulted.
Israel.
Yeah. We insulted them on the podcast.
Oh God.
Apologies to our subscribers that we missed 2 weeks. Life happened, but we're back now. And this week,
hello.
Certified.
you get two podcasts this week.
That's right.
Dos Stavanos.
You didn't ask for either, but
You
you
didn't
get
ask.
two.
You didn't want either. You begged us to stop, but we're not stopping.
Dos Stavanos. You know, down south, that means two Stavanos.
Yeah.
Is this podcast coming before the other one, or?
That's right.
We don't know.
Yeah, that's correct.
No.
Correct.
No.
It's coming before the other
This is
one
the second
that no one
cool
knows about.
podcast that you've got.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got cool stuff coming to the channel.
Yeah.
We've got cool
We've
stuff.
got lots of failure to launch type products.
We've got cool stuff coming to the channel and cool stuff leaving the channel
all the time, coming and going, baby.
Everybody's
Guess
real
what,
excited
guys?
when the rocket's going up.
It's true.
Not so much when it blows up in the air.
But it hasn't blown
I'm
up
pretty
yet.
excited the whole time.
We're still here.
Well.
Yeah, but hey, guess what? If you want to be on the podcast, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Power Up Brothers.
All right, let's clarify. You cannot be on the Patreon. I don't want to be friends with you or have you around. All right, but your topic could be on the Patreon. Is that what
You can be on. You can be our Power Up pal.
Yeah,
you won't be Quentin's Power Up.
Quinn doesn't even like us.
No,
I like you more than them.
It's his thing.
If you pay us money,
Right.
Well,
you know. So there's that. But you can get your topics on here.
Harrison, how's the corner?
It's dimly lit, and it's a little musty over here.
Nice.
But other than that,
well, you are over there.
Yeah.
It's only musty because you're over there, and it's well lit now.
Yeah. No, well,
because you're glowing.
Isn't it roomier though? I've set up.
Yeah. See.
not really.
Not really. Oh,
Wow.
Okay.
We're planning on taking out that whole wall and creating like a backdrop space for you, so you can like move and roll around.
We're planning on taking out the floor where you're standing
You're
and
gonna
having
put
you
like
fall
a hamster
through it.
wheel back there to enrich my life.
No, the hamster is going to be our new editor because we're just going to have AI do your job.
I have like tried to automate things for the sake of the podcast, not to get rid of.
Right.
Literally, my job is to press one button now.
That's
all I have to
push
do.
one button and then fade
But
out.
here's the thing:
Right,
it's okay as long as we keep you around to push that button.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
I mean, you're here for moral support. In that we need moral support while you're here, and that adds some conflict.
You're here for moral support in that you need moral support, and we provide it.
And we have questions.
And we are
really
we are
bad.
mandated by your
bad at it,
therapist.
yeah.
Did you all remember the show Lost from like 20 years ago?
Explain the entire plot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Scene
real
one.
quick.
J.J.
No,
Abrams needed money.
That makes sense.
That's all we needed.
I remember that one.
There is in the show. There's someone who's supposed to like sit in a room and press a button every 108 minutes, and like that's basically my job as editor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now your pay is getting cut, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because of AI.
We are. Yeah, we are. We used to give you 1% of the Patreon money. Now we're gonna have to give you 0.5%. I'm very sorry.
You all don't give me any percent.
We don't give you any percent.
In fairness, we also don't get any percent.
That's true, Frank.
Yeah, but please go to the Patreon.
Go to
It pays for all this
patreon.com/powerhouse.
stuff.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of our patrons, let's go check on them in Topic of the Week.
It's not working.
He's doing great.
Topic of the Week.
He's doing great.
I literally have one job to press a button. I can't even do that.
That was
We
the
just
best
talked
part.
about it.
He's like,
We
I
just
have one
talked
job. He can't do the one job. Were you pushing the wrong button?
No,
Oh,
it's with OBS. It was already the layer was visible.
Oh, it
so
was all right. I
had
forgot to make it. I gotcha.
You know,
Well,
it's
guys,
your fault,
welcome to Topic of the Week, where we talk about our own topics from a bag, but our more exciting bag goes first. Harrison, reach your pious claw into the topic bag.
This is my pious claw going into the bag, and I am pulling my pious claw out.
When do you use a
And-
Gregorian chant for this?
We have.
Oh wait, that's the
Halo
Halo theme. I didn't think anyone would catch it.
Everyone
It's
immediately.
literally
Our
audio
Lord
game.
and Savior, Master Chief.
Yeah. The
Halo
Master
is a.
Chief.
Never mind. Just
Go
read
for it,
it.
Harrison. Who's
This
it from?
comes from Stevie Meeks.
Stevie Meeks.
What
Meeks.
video
Oh.
game do you feel could have been so much more?
Ooh, that's a good question.
hard to narrow down to one.
That's a good question.
There's a lot. Yeah, Harrison's right. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
But
Yeah.
let's pick
But-
in the spirit
I
of the
know.
question.
Fine.
Let's pick one that embodies it for us.
Yeah.
Game that could have been a lot more.
Could have been a lot
Could have been
more.
so much more. Like it was on the cusp of greatness.
I've been watching a lot of Lord of the Rings lately.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings Conquest might
That's what
always.
mine too.
I just thought I'd
The
steal
first,
it before
the
you
first
said it.
trailer was
Ethan
crazy.
talks too much on this podcast, so
Yeah,
I had to,
you're right.
I had to get in there really quick.
Shut up,
to
buddy.
get
All right, just shut up about Lord of the Rings.
Get outta
Conquest.
here.
Somebody else needs to have a
Yeah,
chance.
give me a chance to talk about it.
For once.
No, do you guys remember it? It was made by the people who made Battlefront, the first two
Pandemic
Pandemic.
specifically.
In a scheme to bankrupt them, yes.
Yeah, and it seemed to
right.
bankrupt them. EA forced them to make Lord of the Rings Conquest. It, like, as far as games go, it's like so cool in concept, and it has gameplay elements that are really cool.
Yeah.
But then you can like shadow sneak stab Sauron in the back
They
as an
showed,
object.
they showed these
That's cool.
massive like battlefields, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, "This is insane. How are they going to do this?" And the answer was
They won't.
couldn't. And it was
They
just
won't.
like you played in a tiny section of that battlefield, and everything you saw going on out here, that's just a video. That's a JPEG.
That's a JPEG.
playing
That-
in the
that is a
background.
GIF that you can catch the loop
But they
on.
fooled us for a while.
Yeah. But we played hours of it. It
We
was
played
fun.
a lot of it because it had
fun.
It has the
Yeah.
kernel of a really good idea.
I mean, the thing is that we played a lot of Battlefront, and
Yeah,
so
right.
the thought of
Which
like,
is a
well,
great game.
you know, everybody loves Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you don't even have to be a Star Wars fan, and Battlefront 2 is just
It's
a well
just a
put together
well-made
game.
Yeah.
So the
For
thought
you
of
kids
like,
out there, this is Battlefront 2 made in like 2005.
Yeah, go to
2005.
Steam.
This
It'll
is,
be the
this is the old one.
Battlefront 2 in parentheses 2005.
Oh, I thought they called it
I
classic.
don't think
or
so.
something.
you know,
2005.
it's just crazy to me that we're even having this conversation. It's Battlefront 2. Everybody knows which Battlefront we're talking
but
about.
then they came out with Battlefront.
What are we dealing with?
Yeah.
Like little kids? Is someone knocking on our door?
No.
Harrison, did you hear
We
it?
didn't-
Knocking
hear
on our door 'cause
anything.
Everyone knows that no one knocks when
When
you're
it's
going
recording.
Okay, thank
Quentin-
God.
Quentin's
You know,
lost
I
his
think
mind.
I was losing it.
No, yeah.
but-
So I think that like that game could have been way more, but
Yeah, that's a good.
not the only game that ever could have been more.
I mean, obviously.
But by the way, Star Wars Battlefront 2 on Steam has in parentheses classic, 2005.
man,
It
it's
had both. It's
They
both.
did, but they couldn't pick one.
They're like classic,
I respect,
2005.
I'll be honest. I respect them less. If they had just picked one,
Just put 2000. Yeah.
pick a lane.
Which, by the way, the Aspire ports of those are really good.
I hear they're really.
Let me tell you
good.
something. I heard some ghostly banging on the walls in this place, so that
Yeah.
distracted me from what I was saying, which was,
okay.
you know, we played Battlefront 2,
Right.
you know, and I think that some of you liked Star Wars at the time, right?
Right.
So
As much
With-
as anyone.
with
actually
Lord of the
likes Star
Rings,
Wars.
we've got some Lord of the Rings fans in the rooms.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh.
Well,
Rooms plural.
yes.
Rooms.
Well, there's this
Other
room.
rooms.
There's us, and then there's the ghost.
There was the ghost room.
Turns
Ghost
out there's
is
rooms
not gonna-
besides this one.
Yeah.
Isn't that
So-
crazy?
Probably want to see it.
Yeah. Well, so the point is that you hear this, you're like, well, what if we had Battlefront, but it was Lord of the Rings? That sounds great.
Sounds amazing.
Sounds great. And you get your hands on it, and it's absolute dog. I mean, it sucks. It's not a good game.
It's like all the ingredients of a good game. They just
Yeah,
didn't
because it's all the
not in
ingredients
right
of
amounts.
Battlefront.
Not,
It's all
not
like
in
the
right
classes.
amounts.
The
Yeah.
classes, perfect. You got your little assassins.
Yeah,
you got
I
your
mean,
warriors.
we
and
like
your
scissors,
mages.
Kind
paper,
of all
rock.
the ingredients.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if
If
I said like
if you look at something on the menu and you read the ingredients, you're like, "This is great, waiter. Please give me this." And he goes, "Right, immediately, sir." And he goes to the kitchen and he comes back with an empty plate, and then he super glues your hand down into your own pants. Right?
Right.
Embarrassing, confusing, and I didn't get the things I was promised.
Yeah,
to.
but
exactly,
possibly
right.
still a
now,
good time.
Now I gotta walk over.
oh, it's
A good story for later.
good time.
Yeah.
No, to be serious though, like it is kind of like you reading the ingredient list and going, all these ingredients are fantastic. I love this food dish, and then they don't season it with anything. They bring you they bring you the
Yeah,
ingredients,
exactly,
but
yeah.
they didn't prepare it in any way. That made
I don't
any
know
kind
if
of
that's
Or
the
they
best
burn
analogy.
every
I think
single
that
one.
it's more like going like, well, we can substitute flour for salt, right? And so we don't need the flour. Let's just put salt in there.
Yeah.
And also, why don't we just put some formaldehyde in? That's not on the menu.
Oh,
right.
But it might as well go in. It'll freshen it up.
Yeah.
right?
Ultimately, it was it is a victim of the arms race of graphics at the time.
True.
Yeah, that is
where
actually
the
true.
original Battlefront looked like
It looked like toys.
janky
Yeah.
origami characters even when it came out. It never looked good.
No.
Fun fact,
But it's just massive.
I heard that the original character models that they pitched this game with were those ones that are beyond the explorable area, the ones that are out in the battlefield. Those are all what they was going to be like the main characters, the blocky little dudes, and they, in early builds were like, no, this doesn't look good enough.
Yeah.
Make them look better. Shrink the.
I think that whole era was
Arena.
plagued by like reaching beyond what it could. But what are some other games? Can you think of
in
one?
the spirit of our podcast and its theme, I'm gonna say, because we talked about Lord of the Rings Conquest, which is a bad game,
Right.
but the question wasn't about
Could be more.
necessarily about bad games.
No.
It was just about games that could be more. So I'm going to take this literally and talk about a game called Star Fox Zero.
Right.
Oh.
All right, Star Fox Zero is if you can get Star Fox Zero for like $10-15, it is a really good game.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's just Star Fox 64 kind of refined with some good level design. Quinn's about to go on a rant.
I don't believe you because Shiggy Momo decided to go, well, we have a good game. What if we made them do a little of this?
It's fine.
What if we did a little of this? All right, sure.
It's
I
totally
mean,
fine.
that sounds like fun.
Does nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you have Tourette's, my heart goes out to you. Get us player 2, and you can enjoy the game.
I don't think we can
that
say that,
video
but
If you have Tourette's, I mean, like,
player 2 will
this
fix
guy
that.
was on the
Sure.
sensitivity
So-
council of the BAFTAs.
Yeah, that's
if you were
right.
wondering.
Yeah, that's correct. No, I told them. I provided the accessibility option. No, but seriously, Star Fox Zero. The thing about it is, it has almost no content. You can do everything
it's
that
not
you
a
need
lot.
to do in that game in 3 hours. It
Well,
could have been so much more if they had actually made like a full and proper game out of it. If, like Quinn says, they needed to have at least an option for the gyroscope aiming to be turned off. They needed, beyond adding player 2, because it is off if you add player 2.
I think the only
It has so few levels. I did the math after I beat it the last time, because I played Star Fox 64 and then Zero, and I was actually very impressed at Zero's like level design in general. There are a few bad ones. When you have so few levels, a few bad ones are pretty rough. But I like they do this thing where you replay the same world, but it's a completely like different stage. Going through a stage as an R-wing feels very different than the helicopter or the tank. And so like it they got a little bit clever with that, but total, everything there is to do,
Not
there is
much.
less than half of what Star Fox 64 had in it.
Literally in line with Stevie's question.
Yeah.
Is that like it could have
There literally needed to be more.
every level
More options,
in,
more levels,
Yeah.
more stuff.
every level in Star Fox Zero was really good.
Yeah.
But then
and that's
like,
why I
it
say
just
for
didn't
like,
have
if
a
you
lot.
got Star Fox Zero for $10, it's absolutely worth
Yeah.
$10, $15. Probably not worth the 50 or 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah.
Radical.
I agree.
Mine, so the one out of my mind is a little different. Is it's kind of in the same vein as yours. It's a good game, but then you kind of get through all of it and you look back and you just feel like it's missing something. And that is The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Really?
It's a really good game.
I have
It's
not played that game.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's I like the design. I really like how like its approach to like old school Zelda with Tears of the Kingdom-esque like world interaction.
Yeah, problem solving and
Yeah,
stuff.
because much like Tears of the Kingdom, you can kind of like slap all these little different things together.
Right.
You know, and in Echoes of Wisdom, it's summoning things that you've like copied.
Yeah.
And it is genuinely a really good game.
Yeah.
But when you get to the end of it, there kind of becomes like too many similar solutions to puzzles.
Right.
Where it's like there might be an intended way, but stacking a bunch of beds on top of each other that you got in your dungeon cell almost always solves
Yeah.
some of the problems. And then also the last leg of the game kind of goes a little light, where the first two parts were really, really good. The first big stretch of the game, the first half basically, is really solid. Like
Yeah.
the dungeon design is good, the characters are fun, the general like story of the areas you're in, it has this really great plot. It actually does have a really great plot about the Zora when you go to Zora's domain, because it has
Is
both
the river and the ocean.
yeah, it's the river and the ocean. So it's like got the classic Link to the Past Zoras, and then it's got the Ocarina of Time Zoras.
Which, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So the ocean Zora are the ugly ones, and the river Zora are the beautiful ones.
No,
Reverse
that's
that.
reversed.
That's messed up.
No.
The first time in the original Zelda, it's the Great Sea is where you first see those Zoras.
Yeah.
In an Ocarina of Time, the first time you see the pretty Zoras, they're at Lake Hylia.
It's because by then they had wiped each other out.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah,
one
where
of-
are the scary ones in
lakes
Ocarina
are
of Time?
basically
No, I mean
seas,
as in
right?
Yeah.
the beautiful Zora
No, I
live
know
in
what
a
you
river.
mean.
Yeah.
But what happened to the ugly ones? They're not even in those.
Well, they're in the ocean, which isn't in Ocarina of Time.
You know, he's making a lot of sense right now. Of course, you know that
They are in Wind Waker.
that distinction comes from
They're
the
not in Wind Waker.
that distinction
not.
comes from the Oracle games,
Mm.
where in Ages, when you go to the ocean, that's where you run into the Ocarina of Time Zoras, and in Seasons there are
Oh,
river
you're
Zora,
right. Yeah, you're right.
other enemies. But
Go
regardless,
on.
this plot was actually good.
Zora tangent
and I liked it.
aside, yeah.
And there were some really cool power ups. But the big problem that I wound up having was that the second half of the game kind of goes really light on a lot of the story, and it kind of gets a little like those areas you go to aren't quite as interesting.
Yeah.
And instead of it being like, you know, kind of saving the best dungeons for last, the way a lot of linear Zeldas try to kind of stack those final few dungeons, it kind of just, the game feels like it gets thinner and thinner the closer you get to the end. Like there's less characters, less dialogue. It gets much more streamlined.
Yeah.
And then content-wise, there's not a lot either. They also kind of throw in this ability for you to turn into Link, which at first is like a really cool idea. You have like the spectral form
Yeah.
where you get all of like Link's
Temporarily and
abilities.
stuff.
It's so easy to just stay in that for entire boss fights that you can kind of miss out on. It kind of feels like they were really close to having an engine that just worked on its own.
Yeah.
And then somewhere something didn't click, or they couldn't quite get it all to come together the way they wanted to, and so they added in like an ability to like temporarily play as Link.
Yeah.
And it feels like they were onto something more. It feels like that's the whole thing with it, is that like it's a really great game with really great puzzles, and then right as you're really starting to get satisfied with all these puzzles, and you're like, oh, and then the game's over.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, I just, like, you're just right there where it's like, if this just had a little more content to it,
Yeah.
it would be like so much better. If it just had gone like maybe 2 more dungeons.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little bit bigger.
It is like
I mean, I'm
Grezzo's
spoiled
first
because-
shot. I wonder if they're like they just weren't able to get it as work. Yeah, that's true. I know
I'm
what you're about to
spoiled
say.
because
yeah.
A Link to the Past, you start off with 3 dungeons and then you wind up getting 8
yeah.
afterwards.
And they're all really good.
And they're all good.
None like really throwaway or anything.
Yeah, exactly. It was and that's the thing. I went into Echoes of Wisdom like thinking like kind of like on the fence about it. And by the end of it, I was like, I want to use the tools in this kit more. I want a DLC or some other way to play with all these abilities that the game has.
I need to play the game.
Yeah.
Like especially now that it's like a locked 60 on and I think
Switch
a
to.
higher resolution
really
like
good.
1440 or something.
Free update
Yeah.
for Switch 2.
Yeah. Wasn't
Yeah.
there an update? I think it was like maybe like a month and a half after it came out where you could play at 120 frames per second at 4K.
Anyways,
do you remember
I
when-
can't believe I
do you remember when that
paused
update?
so that you could talk about emulation.
Harrison, please repeat the question.
The question was, what video game do you feel could have been so much more?
Well, Stevie Meeks and or Omega Omelet, whoever it was.
Stevie
first
Meeks.
Go see me.
Well, Stevie Meeks,
Can't even
I'm
get
gonna
your
say-
patrons right.
you didn't go far enough.
Oh,
because
no.
what game didn't? Okay? What game didn't? All of them could have done a
Pong.
whole lot better. All right?
Tetris, maybe?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Tetris would be the game Quentin thinks
Tet-
is pretty much perfect.
Yeah, but Tetris on the DS, that was pretty peak. Tetris on the DS is pretty peak. All
okay,
right?
so there's one.
So I'm gonna say that there's basically nothing I couldn't talk about that should have done better, and it offends me that it didn't. All right, because the fact of the matter is,
You take it as a personal slight.
it's a slight against me. All right, because here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Mhm.
Hideo Kojima is going to jail. All right, Hideo Kojima, Hideo Kojima. Okay, because I'm putting him there.
Guys, we got to be proud of him.
After-
Of his like ranting Kojima related stuff. That's not bad.
That's
After
pretty bad.
Death Stranding 2,
Mhm.
Never
right?
heard of it.
Some people, might have said, we might have said, us, right?
Nope.
Is that what you said?
No. We might have said Death Stranding 2 could have done more,
Okay.
okay?
Right. Along
But-
with every other game
But
ever made.
we's could have said to all of us, and
I was wondering who this is being directed toward now that we're all
and
apart.
everywhere
In a chain email
to each
Right.
other.
to each other.
to each other.
in sort of like a telephone like
Yeah,
manner,
right.
right? One over the other, but unlike telephone, the message is entirely intact. It doesn't change.
The game telephone.
Okay,
Right.
the game of telephone, but it doesn't change.
Right. Okay.
We're the ones saying that.
We're still not sure what you were
What?
saying.
So
What are we saying?
Yeah, what were
so
you
Death
saying?
Stranding 2 could have done better.
That's true.
But go ahead, be upset about it. Everything could have been better, right?
I think you said more.
What are you
not
gonna-
no
better.
one's upset about it except one of you, which we're not sure which one.
Well,
of
that's
you.
us.
All of you.
Right?
Oh.
Right.
It could have done more. Yeah, but what could
True.
have? We're living in a vast universe. You want to say what could have done more? Everything.
In classic Quentin fashion, he like worked himself up and then told himself to calm down.
So, just listen. The point is,
Yeah.
all right, let's lower the temperature in the room, guys. Why don't you,
All calm down
here's a
now.
fun idea. Why don't we,
Right.
all of us, all 6 of us, just calm down?
So what you're saying
Right?
is we could do less.
We could do less.
We could be doing less right now, but video games can be doing more.
We want to
Video
hear
games
what.
would
know,
be
sometimes
doing
they
more
do just
proportionally
enough.
if we
We
did
want to hear
less.
which one Harrison thinks could have done more, while Quentin tries to calm down his many other
Yeah,
selves.
I'm gonna
have-
think. Just go ahead.
I have a hot take.
Oh no!
The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
You're actually
This is
insane.
not really a hot take. I
You're
gotta be
actually
honest.
insane.
Please explain.
Yes.
I feel-
2 out of 4 people over here, which is 50%, would agree with you.
Yeah.
So you got
I don't
that
think
going
the
for you.
larger audience
Probably
would,
not.
would
Probably
agree.
That
not.
is a hot take.
No, I feel like a sequel to Breath of the Wild. Like there was a lot it could have done with a lot, and I feel like a lot of development was spent on the new mechanic systems of like the construction and whatnot, and there wasn't a lot of time spent on things like the shrines or the story.
The story, I will agree with
Story,
you.
yeah, I
I will
would
100% agree with you on the story.
No, that's the impression we got when we played Age of Calamity. Was like, why wasn't
A lot
this
of
in
people
the
did,
Age of
yeah.
Imprisonment.
Age of
Yeah.
Age of
Imprisonment?
Imprisonment.
Because it was because why wasn't
Story's
this in the main
quite good.
game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
A buddy of
I
mine
think the
said the same
shrines
thing.
in Tears of the Kingdom are
There
Yeah.
are a lot of unfinished ones. There are some that are just blessings with no.
well, those are ones that are exceptionally
Getting
difficult to
to
get
them,
to.
yeah.
And you usually have to get like a guide stone to get you to it. So basically the puzzle was
But
outside
actually,
the shrine.
and you kind of touched on something though, and I'm curious if you agree. I'm glad someone brought up Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, because to Ethan's point,
Fight
do you guys? No, do you find that? Do you think that part of it is the fact that it's so open ended? Because I feel like a lot of times when I play an open ended game, I just feel like there was something missing because of how open ended it is. Not even like a bad thing. It's just sort of like, oh, I missed out on the opportunity to experience this way. There's no way to not feel that way.
No.
Great
I
answer.
think-
Okay,
I-
that was a great
Thanks for
answer to
coming
this
here.
segment.
I actually feel like with Tears of the Kingdom, it might have been.
You know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Is that when you play like Ocarina of Time and then you learn to like backflip off of something and sequence break, it feels cool because you're like, clearly I was not supposed to do that. Sometimes it is funny that later the developers are like, no, we knew you could do that. It's way too hard. But like that really never happens in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom because there's like 40 different ways of doing it. And so like my initial playthrough of Breath of the Wild, I felt like something was missing, but then I had the benefit of being able to watch my wife play it. And I was like, oh, that wasn't missing. I just didn't do it.
I think with Tears of the Kingdom, one of the things is that it copied a lot of the like structure of Breath of the Wild, and I guess
Copy's a
I don't
good
know if
word,
this-
yeah.
Well, yeah, because it like you can go fight the last boss right at the beginning, but it kind of doesn't make sense that you
It
can in
doesn't
Tears
make
of the Kingdom.
No.
Because like the thing you get to fight him from all the shrines, from all the shrine warriors, is important to fighting him.
Yeah.
And so it's confusing. In the original game, it kind of makes sense why you
Yeah.
can just go fight the last boss
He's
immediately.
just harder.
He's just harder, but Zelda is the one who's actually going to like imprison him, going to defeat him.
Correct.
The Master Sword is just really good at it.
Yeah.
So I get the like it when I first saw the trailers for Tears of the Kingdom. I saw like, oh, dude, these armies are like moving, and Link's like at the front of this like army of villagers who go out to fight these monsters. And there was this idea of like, oh, maybe that's going to be like a factor.
Yeah.
And when you get to the first fortress, like Lookout, and it's like they're setting up a forward defense against monsters. There is this thought I had of like, oh, that's neat. That wasn't in Breath of the Wild. Like that's a new system.
Right.
But then it feels like that system didn't really get implemented because they do like an attack on a little monster base, but like
Yeah.
you just kind of come across it, and it doesn't like there's no like it doesn't affect anything.
Doesn't
in the
feel like a
overworld.
mechanic,
It doesn't
yeah,
feel like a
right.
mechanic, but it feels
Yeah.
like they were playing around with it as
Yeah.
one. They like put all the mechanics from Breath of the Wild and even more. And then they slapped on also this like really impressive construction
Yeah.
engine, right? Like the ability to put things together in Tears is incredible.
What was the main
But,
thing for you? Would you say that you felt like was just it could have been much more than it was?
Now that I think about it, I think honestly the depths. There's like it's a pretty interesting like idea of like having a negative version of Hyrule
Like a
underneath.
devil map, yeah.
But like there's not much to do down there.
I
Like
didn't
there
really
you
do it.
get like you just go down there for materials that
there's quite a
you
bit to
upgrade.
do, but there's not a lot of reward for doing
Yeah,
it.
right.
exactly.
that was actually one of my favorite parts. I really liked the
Yeah.
depths, and
They
I
were
was
cool.
a little.
Yeah, it was a new area to explore, and I like that in Breath of the Wild.
I like
was
that it has like a
exploration.
higher difficulty, but I agree that like
I get what you mean though.
Yeah.
Compared to
Not much
Hyrule
down.
Field,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like
you see
Yeah,
like
second
the
Hyrule.
statues of the Dogma, right?
Yeah.
the
Mogma.
the
Mogma.
Mogma, yeah. And I'm like, oh man, what? They're my favorite Zelda like species is the Mogma.
Right.
They're so good in Skyward
Sword,
Sword,
yeah.
and I'm like, they got to be down here somewhere. I'm just wandering around. Like there's
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
down here.
But yeah, in Breath of the Wild, like there's a reward for exploring. Like the shrines, like give you upgrades to your health. Korok upgrades to your inventory.
Yeah.
But in Tears of the Kingdom, like the depths, there's not really a reward for exploring it.
No.
So like I never really felt like I didn't have a strong need.
Gear is the only reward.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gear down there.
I guess, yeah.
There's
that's true.
it's the you also can get the untarnished weapons.
That's right. Yeah.
But that's a complicated subject because weapons are weird and
Yeah. But yeah, so those were games that we thought could have been a lot more than they were.
I didn't actually get to my game.
What?
I didn't even get to my game.
No. Your 17 other
Death
personalities
Stranding
did get to
I
it.
didn't-
I think you blacked out.
I
you
didn't
said
get-
Death
and one
Stranding
of
2
them-
15 times.
Well, no,
One
but
of
that
them
wasn't the
could
game I
stand
would have
into
gone
light.
with.
You went with all
Death Stranding
games.
2. If I was going to talk about a game, I would talk about Twilight Princess.
We're not
Twilight
doing
Princess,
another. We're
that's
not
a
doing
game.
another Zelda game.
As I say, Twilight
we had
Princess.
two.
We already
We
have
had
two
two
Zelda
Zelda
games.
games.
Twilight Princess is a game,
Stevie, thank you for your comment.
right?
Stevie, clearly you had a game in mind. What game did you
Yes.
think could have been more?
I don't know. I think Twilight Princess actually went all the way it could.
Oh.
I don't.
Quinn just wants to burn Twilight Princess.
I don't think they could have done more with that.
If you want to get your topic on the podcast like Stevie did, go to patreon.com/PowerUpBrothers. Become our Power Up Pal. We have 3. Join the 3.
It costs $55 to enter. My PayPal is in the info.
Quentin's PayPal is not there anywhere. Now we're going to go to our topics, not as cool. Harrison,
Reach your disappointing claw.
My
into the
disappointing
bag.
claw. My claw that can't hit a button.
yeah.
This is from Ethan.
Ooh,
I'm
exciting.
guessing
Home.
it just says E. I don't
Yeah,
think there's anyone else here that
well,
starts with an E.
Could have been from
Edgar.
Ecuador.
Did
Yeah.
you know my name was Eugene?
Are there any good uses of AI in gaming?
That is a timely
Whoa.
card
Whoa.
right there.
Of course there is. I
have
love
15
when the
minutes.
guards in Metal
Yeah.
Gear Solid
Yeah.
can figure out where I'm
Yeah, I was
living.
gonna say. I mean, when I shoot the near them and they go like, "What was that noise?" and then they walk
Yeah.
over. You knock on the door.
I think there might be a little. I think there might be a little.
Are you putting a
blurring.
contemporary spin on that?
Yeah, I think so. AI
faster.
for all the kids out there, for the Gen Z and Gen Alpha crowd,
Gentiles.
And just all of them, yeah.
and the Gentile crowd out there. AI used to just refer to how smart or dumb a video game NPC was.
In AI, in
I
video
think more
games.
about generative AI.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay,
So I do want you
generative
to
AI.
clarify. Do you mean in development or in like the game itself when you're playing it?
I mostly mean in the game itself.
Okay.
The development conversation is a toilet fire
Yeah.
because they were like, Claire Obscure used it for these posters on the walls that were at the beginning of the game. And they were like, yeah, here's the real version. With the first update, we replaced those. They still used it.
Why
and now
was
there's this
it-
game,
Well, yeah.
Crimson Desert, where all the paintings are AI generated.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, nah, the game's fun. It's fine.
I think
so
it's both
It's
bad.
a toilet fire conversation that can't be sorted by
I-
human beings.
I was
think that
hoping
there
it
I'll
was
need to ask
gameplay.
ChatGPT about that question.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that there's a very easy way to sort it, which is that they shouldn't do it.
Well, there you go.
Good
There you
job.
go.
Yeah, there you go.
Quinn-
They shouldn't have used generative AI.
Quinn's gonna
I
have
will-
his own
the-
podcast,
let me
and
tell
it's
you
gonna be
something.
3 minutes.
The idea that they were like in the first update, okay, they had not at launch corrected the fact that they had AI generated stuff and they had to patch that out.
yeah.
You all could have, with like 5 more minutes of thought, realized that people were not going to like that you used generative AI.
They didn't know that. Supposedly, they didn't know it was there. It was a placeholder that they were supposed to have swapped
Yeah.
out with the actual images, and that's why within days, it wasn't even the first week. It was like 3 days.
Who
they
did the
swapped
generative
it with the,
AI?
Correct. I'm sure the art team did.
Well, no,
as
I
a
think
placeholder.
it was from a stock image company.
Oh no, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
It
Adobe
was-
stock was using AI art.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I believe they got the AI. So what it is there are these poles in the city that have like newspapers stapled to them.
Yeah.
And the newspapers themselves were AI. But they got that texture, if I'm not mistaken, from Adobe
some kind of
stock.
It's kind of like it's kind of like creating a project and leaving the font on just Helvetica because you didn't change it.
I would need to do more research, but I'm going to say more than likely it is in fact not that. I think that more than likely they just created a certain assets, textures, and things like that using generative AI.
Honestly,
it's very convenient.
I do think that there is a function of generative AI. I don't know that any games have used it. Go to if you're watching and you can think of a game that does this, tell us in the comments. But I think like a Spelunky styled game could make use of AI and as like an option outside of procedural generation. If you had an AI generated level, because then you would never like procedural generation will always give you some structure. Yeah. But like an AI generated level would be like truly
I'm gonna say,
a bunch of.
I mean, like
what you just said was such malarkey. I can't even believe it. Just Spelunky type game. Spelunky is a game which every single aspect
you could
of it is
argue
so
a procedural generator was a learning model, like a very basic learning model.
We can get really granular about AI because video games do use a lot of learning models.
Yeah, a lot already
at times. And so, like, when does it become? I think the spirit of this question, and Ethan, you're here, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. Is that like a learning model that has certain things programmed into it and learns from the player or learns from its experiences in game, kind of like the a lot of the AI in we were talking about Metal Gear Solid 5 and stuff.
Yeah,
that's a little more linear. Is even if that was fundamentally the same technology that generative AI is built on, I think the spirit of the question is a generative AI with the knowledge and accumulated information that these Gen AI have, which is outside of the game. It's not learning from the things you do in the game, which video games, like we said, kind of already do. Yeah. It's having been programmed with all this generative stuff that these spiders have collected from the internet. Yeah. Is there a role for that?
Well, no, I mean, here's the real problem, though, is that AIs are trained on other things, right? And so unless someone is training an AI, that they have a custom AI that they are training exclusively on their own stuff.
Which you absolutely can do.
You can do that. But then you get into the fact that
people have been doing that for many years.
If you train something on all your own stuff and it's not pulling from anybody else's assets, it's exclusively consenting individuals, then it's like, okay, that's better. But at the same time, if you've got like a huge art team, like if Konami did all of their assets and put them through and created AI games, you're still taking every single artist who has ever worked in this company and you are creating a soup of them, right? And it's like artistic death.
One of the things that I was thinking about as well was there is a mod for Skyrim where every character you can talk to any of them and they respond in character to you based on what you said.
Queries GPT-4, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is, it puts these bumpers in, bowling bumper kind of things where it's like this NPC can't know things that character doesn't know. So if you ask them like, who
shot JFK?
Who shot JFK?
Like, I don't know.
They're like, who are you talking about? If you ask them, like
Nord?
Yeah, they're like, like how fast is a Tesla on the highway, dude? It's like they won't understand.
They're taking one of the L's out of LLM. Like instead of being a large learning model, they're like, no, it's just a learning model that knows like this restricted amount of data.
But the thing
is,
I
see the. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
No, what I think Ethan's getting at is that like the big conversation, one of the big conversations about AI is not the fact that it is replacing, human input, which that is a conversation and that is a problem.
That's more of like the company is replacing it with AI. Yeah. You can't blame AI.
Or that like AI art, has no soul because there was no person behind it. That is a conversation. But the other thing is that all these AIs were trained on other people's information, on their post histories, on their art, without their consent and without rewarding them for it.
Right.
But there's another problem. This technology is out there, and people who use it get a leg up and an advantage on people who don't. So in the case of somebody huge like Konami, it's kind of inexcusable for them not to just hire an art team, right?
Yeah.
But when you're a small game developer and all your peers are getting ahead by leveraging new technologies, it's and you go belly up because you tried to do it the right way. that is the problem that we're running into. And that is not something that individual game devs can fix. That is not something that game developers at large can fix. That's something that like society, governments, the United Nations, that will have to fix because it's not something that the individual can fix.
And my point though is that no one likes AI in their art, and so people get really annoyed when they see like these AI generated games on Steam.
Well,
those don't go anywhere.
Kind of if you wholesale generate a picture, yes. However, most art has generative AI tools that were used to make it these days. And those
have to be.
Those raise the if you used Photoshop, they are using a Gen
for a long
AI.
time.
The
companies have
the thing
I
is,
should say you can.
the same ethical questions about AI. Yes, it's going to look better because at the end of the day, a person was the last. I always said that like AI art or AI assisted art looks bad when the AI is the last thing that happens in the process, and it looks good if the AI is the first thing that happens in the process and the human is the last thing.
It's definitely better
because you drew over it basically. You just used it as a reference, as a framing device.
In the spirit of your question, is there a way you think it could be implemented?
So I see all these
we're
AI,
talking about like development.
So I had this idea for trying something with a chatbot.
Yeah.
Right? I had this idea because like I DM a lot of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I DM a whole bunch of stuff, one shots in a campaign,
which means Dungeon Master.
I thought you meant direct message, and I was literally
watching this will think direct.
I thought you said direct message, and I was like, why are you bringing that up?
But I had this idea I wanted to test. I came up with all of these characters that were NPCs for this village, and I gave them all different personalities and made them like different players to different degrees, gave them secrets, gave them like all these things, and put all of that into Chat GPT and said, all right, in this like Discord campaign where everyone was just like typing their answers out, what would happen if I used this chatbot to respond to NPCs so that even like my character doesn't know how these players are going to react?
That's a cool idea.
And the thing that happened was the chatbot just made them talk like I had written them. It tried to keep them as close to the way I wrote them as possible.
Yeah.
Was it perfect? No, not even sort of.
It took you like an afternoon to do.
But at some point we were all kind of looking at it going like, there was an element where like, it was interesting is that it wasn't a completely generated. It wasn't generated like AI, please make a Dungeons and Dragons game for me to play. It was that it took characters I had already created with personalities, dispositions, and then just made them respond. Yeah. Responses weren't always perfect, but my descriptions weren't always like exhaustive.
Right.
And so it got me thinking like, I see all these AI games pop up where they say like, yeah, in this game you can talk to anyone. It has this dynamic effect, and they're all just like trash.
Yeah.
But I was like, with enough player input, a language model wouldn't be a bad thing for some games to have.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's potential there. Then it's sad that like companies have ruined the idea of a learning model by first of all calling it AI. It's not AI.
Yeah.
There's nothing intelligent about it. It's been taught to do something and it's doing it.
Yeah.
It's just that like it mimics intelligence because it's not like a preset thing. It's a bunch of presets things mixed with like predictive and media libraries. But like I do think that the advancements we've made in how learning models think could be neat in a video game. Just shoving a large learning model into a video game will never be a good idea because it may accidentally, when you're like, how do I get to, the wizard's lair? It may like accidentally be like JFK was shot on 19, and it's
each player's experience with the game would be different. Like every time you talk to the NPC, you are not going to be getting like the same information as another player.
Exactly.
And if it's a restricted learning model, that's cool.
To bring it back around.
But if they accidentally got like a hallucinating AI that talks about,
if you use what I would describe as like an ethically sourced LLM, right? Where you use the underlying technology that was created, but you feed it information.
Yeah, it only
just
pulls
your
stuff
information,
from that game.
Stuff from the game.
Like to Quentin's point, even if it's from that company, it's like okay, but that's still too much.
Right?
Like you need it to be just
it's
that
just
game.
designed to hear response, answer, and you train it yourself basically, and you train it not on other people's stuff. You have to provide it truly open sourced information, right? Then I think there's both an ethical and potentially a useful way to include it in a game. I don't necessarily know that has the problem is it's all being used for art, and art is the least applicable thing for AI. I think that is not a hot take, right? Like conversation and text is probably or code is probably the most applicable use of AI in business, and art has got to be the dead last thing you would ever use.
I just want to cap this off with saying video games, you're already on thin ice. All right, you're already on thin ice with me.
Quinn's gunning for you.
You're already on thin ice with me. You're gonna do this like, oh, we're gonna replace art and the last bit of humanity we have with AI.
Did you
like,
see
okay,
Nvidia's presentation?
it looked awful.
You see it?
Where the,
So the
where
DLSS
characters after the thing went on, their eyes were going in different directions.
Pretty great,
Jeez
actually.
Louise. Okay.
Guys, let us know. Go down to the comments. Do you think games could use any TLMs, tiny learning models?
Tell ChatGPT to come up with a really thoughtful response.
Tell ChatGPT to disagree.
If you guys are here, this isn't going to make any sense to the audience, but if you guys are still here, go put your favorite PS1 game down there in the comments. Check out these little, I wish I could remember the name. I refuse to edit
right there on
anything
screen.
into No, see, I refuse to edit anything into the podcast.
He's not editing the podcast.
Okay, fine. I'll put in
Jewel case.
No, the guy who makes these. I wanted to shout him out for our
Jewel made these.
300.
Put it in the description.
Yeah, the singer.
You're so smart. Go check the description.
Go check
I'll
the
put
description.
it there.
It's probably there.
This is Harrison producing. He redeemed him.
Oh my God!
Yay!
This is great.
Now push
We're
the
so
button,
glad you're
push
here.
the button pusher.
And,
Guys, thanks for being. Oh,
if
go ahead.
you sign up for the Patreon, once we get $10,000 on there, button clicker over here will start getting $5 a month.
Button clicker over here is gone, and Gemini's doing his work.
Replace him with
and we'll get
AI.
a tiny learning model to push the button. Guys, thanks for being here. See you next week.
so much.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
So long. See you
Bye.
next week.